Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full House Games. You are joining myself, Caleb House, and David Brocci, as well as Damian on the left there and Josh on the right for the finals of the Brisbane Vintage League Mark II.
Yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well done to both players for making it through 8 rounds of Swiss and the top 8 today to reach the finals. Damian today is piloting 8 Pyro.
8 Pyro.
It's a rogue deck. You've not seen anything like this before. It packs 4 Young Pyromancer, 4 of the new card Monster Mentor, and then a whole heap of cheap spells and disruption to trigger those abilities to make lots of tokens. Josh, on the other hand, is the reigning champion, made it all the way to finals again this year, piloting the same deck, Dirty Mud. The list is probably different. The idea is the same. Do broken things and make...
Should have played my other list.
Yeah.
Should have played Kill Switch.
Yes, you should have played Kill Switch. Do broken things, make a Dark Depths token swing for 20. And Josh is very good at making that happen a lot. Guys shuffling up here, and we'll see who is victorious. The prizes at stake here. The winner will walk away with a Time Vault.
The loser with a Library of Alexandria.
So, whichever way you look at it, that's a pretty good deal. The winner gets something the loser doesn't know. Is that bragging rights and an awesome playmat from Good Games, Slime Bowl, the top 8.
Absolutely super rare, one of a kind, cannot ever receive again.
Playmat.
I'm
offering everyone $5 for it. I expect that I'll get it off Josh in the near future. So the guys rolling to see who goes first.
Really.
Looks like
my signature is the only reason you won.
Of course it is, Caleb. Of course. Looks like Damian goes first. Damian, we mentioned in previous coverage.
First vintage tournament.
First vintage tournament ever, and he's made it all the way.
Beautiful
to the top 8.
handshake.
Yeah, good display of sportsmanship by the boys. This final's going to be well played.
Absolutely.
No love lost between them when the cards are on the table, but they'll be friends at the end. So the mustache sleeves are shuffled up, and we're going to be ready to get our first 7, see if anyone wants to mulligan.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Get on our way.
7. Beautiful. Alright. So what are you hoping for if you're Damian here?
You need some disruption.
Mm-hmm.
You need something to slow Josh down to take care of that first turn play.
Yep.
And then you're going to want some sort of card advantage spell to fill your hand up.
Sure.
It's, I think, a little bit of a difficult matchup for him.
I think I saw a Mystic Remora there.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Yeah. There are a lot of creatures coming down for Josh, so it might not be as good as it could be.
Yep, so you'd sideboard it out, you reckon?
Probably would. Best against control decks, not against aggro decks. Damian starts off with a probe. We've got Revoker, Lodestone, Wasteland, Tomb, Lodestone, and there's an Expedition map there as well. So it's a pretty good hand.
Wow.
Pretty good hand.
Yep, so what do you think if you're Josh here?
Drop
a Revoker on turn 1? Or
he's got double Revoker. I would probably maybe map turn 1 double Revoker. Oh, no. No, I don't know. I'm not experienced enough with Josh's deck, but I think you'd want to get the Lodestone on the battlefield as soon as you could.
Yep.
So
you have to draw a mana rock for that, though. So
not necessarily. He's got double turn.
Sure. So
turn
2.
Turn 2, you'll get it.
But what do you want to be playing on turn 1?
I think it's dictated by what Damian does. Really. That's a deck. Is it a deck Faden?
No. Oh, it could be.
Yes, it is. That's a deck Faden.
Which is
pretty good card to see so early in this match.
So if you're Josh, do you Wasteland right now?
That's a Plains.
He didn't play a Fetchland.
No, that's a Tundra. Yes, he does.
Yep.
You picked it, Caleb. So
I don't know. I'm not quite sure is what you want to be doing.
It's
good. Don't get me wrong.
You've reset the game, but Damian has had a look. Oh, okay. Now,
all right.
This is making a bit more sense. So there's the Revoker.
Yep.
We'll probably name Dak Faden.
Come on. Do you think he's really seen Dak Faden?
I think he'd be expecting it.
Alright.
But I think Damian has bricked on land here. No, he hasn't. No, that's a land.
Looks like he's got 3 in the middle.
It does, yeah.
Um,
But passes the turn without incident. Josh
I don't know
takes some damage with his Mana Crypt.
if I'm Josh. I don't know if I toss up between.
But
Excuse me. Lodestone or. Yeah, the toss up is either ramming a Lodestone turn 1 and hoping he doesn't have it, or.
no, he's going to play the Lodestone now.
More measles, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the proper play, putting the pressure on now. Because he has got another Wasteland.
Does he? I saw another Ancient Tomb.
Oh no, sorry, it's double Ancient Tomb, one Wasteland, not double Wasteland, one Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, which
So-
is why I was more
But-
sort of deciding for a Lodestone. But a turn 2 Lodestone is still very good.
Pretty good, especially after, well,
Wastelanding your opponent.
exactly right.
And, being ahead because you've got a Mana Crypt.
Yeah, Josh going to have 6 mana at his disposal next turn, so
Steel Sabotage going to be very good here.
yeah, that's right.
If that's what we're about to see.
We can't play it though.
Yeah,
It needs an extra land.
counter. Steel Sabotage is 1 blue.
There's a Lodestone on the board.
You can counter it if it's on the stack.
Oh, is he countering it right?
Yeah.
No, that was an Ancestral Recall.
Yep, so it's still on the stack then.
It is. Now, hasn't got any mana left though, so has he found a Force?
Force or a Bolt? A Bolt cuts it here.
Yeah.
Bolt will cut the mustard and actually leaves Josh kind of high and dry, really, because Mana Crypt could actually kill him before.
The Revoker kills
does.
Damian, yeah, that's true. Knowing Josh, he's probably just top deck his combo win. Because he does that a
Oh,
lot.
look.
And there's the bolts.
Damian's top deck of Bolt.
There's the bolt, so expect the Lodestone to eat that.
For sure. Now, when do you want to play that? Do you want to play it as a sorcery? Do you want to play it in response to Josh going to combat?
Yeah, you play it as
You
late
want
as
to?
possible, don't you?
Yeah, but maybe you hold off on it and see if Josh plays anything and just take 4 damage. But then that's taking 4 damage.
5 damage. It's actually
There's a 5?
It's actually low, so it's a 5-3.
Goodness me.
5-3, and so that'll be
That's PC.
7 damage because of the Revoker.
But I definitely think you can't be aiming that at Josh himself. Because he is taking enough damage off those lands.
Yeah, that's right. I expect it'll have to kill the Lodestone. The play here, depending on what the Revoker is naming, is to end of turn bolt the Lodestone,
Yeah.
untap, play Activated, and take the Lodestone. But in any event,
And turn
he's
bolt the Revoker, you mean? And then take the Lodestone.
yes, that'd be a good play, but he hasn't got the 4 mana yet.
Yeah.
So maybe that's going to be another play if he draws another bolt. In any event, Josh, deprived of that 5 damage.
He could, however, if Josh has no other plays, play Dak Faden and take that Mana Crypt. Maybe he takes some damage, sure, but he could take that Revoke. He could lose Dak Faden, has a Mana Crypt, and Josh is now painfully dealing himself 2 damage. But
yeah,
Mana Crypt is also 3 damage. These are the mathematics you got to toss up.
Yeah, in Vintage.
So very powerful.
Josh in the tank here, really thinking about this play.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a lot, it seems.
We know he has a Revoker, an Ancient Tomb, and an Expedition map in hand. And that's Buried Ruin.
Buried Ruin, very good.
So Lodestone Golem may come back in a couple of turns' time.
That's the stuff.
But for the moment, he's running out the map.
Okay.
And
maybe cracking
the
the
second Revoker.
Ooh.
And he may even double name Dak Faden here, just to protect himself
Just to
from it,
run
because it
into
is really, really good
Maelstrom
again.
Pulse.
Just really Maelstrom Pulse. From a blue, I'd be impressed from a blue, red, white deck, but no. Many decks double name on
Look,
Pithing
Echoing
Needles.
Truth is still live.
It is live. I don't think it's in Damian's list though.
We don't know. He's running 8 Pyro.
He is. It's a rogue
You
list.
can't discount anything.
There could be anything
Come
in this
on.
list. You're right.
Get hype.
You're right.
Also, a deck that seems noticeably wanting to go quite high up the mana curve, despite having quite a lot of low to the ground spells, It's not often that Damian misses his land drops.
No, it's not often at all. And there's the young Pyromancer, one of the 8.
Also not going to
Pyro.
cost 3 mana. Low turn's not in play.
Exactly right. So there's a little bit of a buffer against the Revoker damage.
Yep, for sure.
But
and this makes it really bad for Josh to swing because a bolt into block your Revoker is pretty bad.
It is. Josh takes more damage off his Mana Crypt, draws a card. I expect we'll see the Ancient Tomb number 2 from his hand.
Yep.
But no, he's going to challenge for 1, and that's a good play. Shuts off the aforementioned bolt Eurovoker play that Caleb talked about.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still bolt in response, which seems strictly better when you're running quite a lot of 1-drops. You don't really want to be shut out of town, as it were.
Workshop, strictly better option than Ancient Tomb.
Yep.
But
not strictly better. Thank you very much. Can only pay for artifacts.
You're right.
Cannot
there are
play
situations.
with artifacts.
There are safe situations where Ancient Tomb would be better, but he's now only got an Ancient Tomb in hand, we know, so off the top now. Have to see if his deck likes him or not.
Look, Josh's deck loves him.
It does love him, doesn't it?
It's not like he doesn't draw live.
So does Damian. He's surely can't be running that many lands, but he's been hitting his land drops every game we've watched. And he's got a preordained too, so he'll use that now to create a token. And look to see if he can't find something to tip this matchup over the edge.
It's going to get countered, unfortunately.
Yeah, because of the chalice. Josh remembering his trigger.
Gush would be quite good right now, I think.
And he's got... Are they 2 Gushes on the end, or are they 2 Mystic Remoras?
I think they're 2 Gushes.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Especially with the way he's looking at
and he looks like he's going to do that, yeah.
See, if they are... Oh, well, Brainstorm's not very effective anyway, so ignore me. I was going to say, if they are 2 Gushes, then you probably don't want to be double fetching and going for a double Gush here. When you could fetch 1, Brainstorm, Gush, triggers everywhere, and, get a little bit more value out of the second fetch, but... With Brainstorm shut off, things are looking grim.
Indeed, but still...
Grim monolith, in fact.
That's what Josh is. In terms of Vintage League, he's a grim monolith, standing in the way of all of those who would like to win their Swiss rounds.
Absolutely.
As we've talked about in previous video coverages, Josh almost went undefeated through the Swiss. The only loss was to me, 3-0. That's because I tuned my deck like hell to beat him.
Todd Thompson.
I think that might have been a concession.
Ooh, shots fired.
Not sure.
They are playing the same deck.
They are. So. Is that a Time Walk?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. So that makes his Gushes a lot better.
Makes his Gushes a lot better, and if he's got any 1-mana spells, he could cast them right now. So maybe a Gush into...
Yep. He is gushing. Yep. Gets another token. This is where the young Pyromancer starts to go overboard.
Yep. For sure. And you probably also want to cast like a Brainstorm here too.
You do. It's going to get countered, of course, because of the chalice.
Yeah, but I don't think he has any ways around that. Steel Sabotage is cut off.
Yes.
And you might as well spend that extra mana, getting an extra token.
Oh, he's thinking about the second Gush. He's not going to do it.
No, that's a good choice. He's got too many cards in hand. With, what he had in hand before, plus 8 cards, he's going to have to do some serious discarding.
That's right. So, land number 3. And tokens go in.
You might as well.
Yeah, and there's no way Josh is blocking with his Revokers, especially if they're naming Dak Fade and he's wanting to keep them around. This is where Josh this is where you want to get Josh's deck. You want to get it to this stage where he's off the top now. He doesn't have any pressure on the board, and this is where Damian's deck can try and come in to the match with the library manipulation. The advantage of being able to generate those tokens with young Pyromancer, and might even have the chance to run over Josh here.
For sure. Enough tokens is really gonna set the mood. And again, Josh can't attack. 3 open mana is... I'll bolt, it won't do anything, but I'll still get a token. and I'll block your one that's naming deck Faden.
Exactly right.
You know, so you could be in serious trouble.
Yeah, exactly right. Even the bolt will still work for your purposes.
If you're doing nothing, and a crypt is, you know, just sitting there.
So, Josh, using his expedition map here.
Interesting.
It is. We've got to remember that Josh can get that lodestone back, the buried ruin.
Academy.
Which might be what he's going to do now, given that he's got the academy to get the mana.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to pay for that lodestone golem.
Yep, and then the buried ruin.
You're probably actually going to see it pay for the buried ruin and then the Mishra's factories, just so he doesn't have to take any damage.
Correct. There we go. So that's. Oh no! It's a Staff of Nin.
Oh.
That's a good top deck for Josh. And that will be very, very good in dealing with the 1/1 tokens with its ping. Also,
pretty
again,
good dealing with the young Pyromancer.
Yes, we've said before, Mud should not be allowed to draw 2 cards a turn. It's criminal.
Yeah, and attached to a, ping for 1, ping for 1, ping for 1. You really actually need Monastery Mentor in this situation.
You do, and I don't think Damian has that. But
ooh, mana drain.
Is that a mana drain we see?
It's a dig through time.
It's a dig through time. Okay.
Going for a little chop chop dig dig.
Exciting new card coming into the format. Is restricted, I believe, in Vintage.
No,
not restricted in Vintage.
Fully legal in Vintage.
Legal in Vintage.
Restricted
Some people argue it's better than Treasure Cruise.
Some people are wrong.
And
I
think
it's a bit of a bold statement. They're very different cards.
They are, but you would not want Treasure Cruise in this situation because, as we can see, Damian has found a Force of Will for that Staff of Nin.
It is within the top 3 cards, though, so Treasure Cruise would have grabbed it. But Sorcery Speed.
Yes, that's right. So
that's the issue.
He's going to take the Force and something else.
I personally prefer Dig Through Time because of the connotations towards tutoring that it has.
Yes.
And the instant speed ability, whereas Treasure Cruise is just good from a raw card advantage battle, which is better for decks like Blue Red Delver, whereas this is slightly better, and it looks like he's missed one of the triggers. Is that the sort of click there?
The trigger from
Dig Through Time.
He remembered the
Remember the
force trigger, but he missed the dig trigger.
Mm.
Yeah, so could have had 5 tokens.
Yeah.
Which may have been important. Josh really needed that Nin to resolve.
Yeah.
However, guess what's coming back next turn?
Staff of Nin.
Buried Ruin. Sorry, ridiculously.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have the mana for it, and getting beat in the face with 5.
No, he does. Ancient Tomb will activate the Buried Ruin to put it to his hand and he plays it next turn.
My apologies. Does he have the life to do that, though?
That's what I don't know, you see. He might be very low now from the Ancient Tomb activations and these tokens. But he is going to do that. I believe he'll probably go for the Staff of Nin. Yes.
Yeah. Seems like a good choice.
But the Mana Crypt is going to be nice to him this turn, not dealing any damage, and here comes the Staff of Nin.
He is getting very low, so maybe that Staff of Nin's not enough to actually do it. Damian hasn't taken a lot of damage yet.
It's
dig through time
another
again.
dig through time. Wow, Damian seeming to have all the answers here. I think he's missed his Monster Mentor trigger, the Easy on Pyromancer trigger again. But can he find another force?
Looks like yes.
Oh, I can't quite see.
A daze could possibly even be enough to pull this out, in all honesty.
No, I've still got the Mana Crypt.
Untapped, true.
So,
true. The Mana Crypt.
No, you're going to need a hard counter here to stop
do it.
this. Maybe he'll find a Steel Sabotage and run it into Chalice, but who knows.
Look.
There's a Jace there.
Jace is good.
Not against Staff and Nin, it's not. But making him choose between that and the Rampaging tokens wouldn't be all that bad. No, I think he might. Oh, he's not. He might gush here. Yeah, he might gush here, which he's going to do. So, yeah, good play using his tap mana. Remembers his trigger.
Yep, good stuff. Unfortunately, he is a bit of a newer player to the vintage scene.
He is, and you've got to be very careful. Triggers. No.
Josh is just going to
Josh
pack it
has
in.
had
Didn't have
enough
life.
Seems that's put him over the threshold of damage. So, Damian takes the game back. and
Good
that
stuff.
is...
Well done. Clap.
No, sorry, is that the first game or the second game?
That was game one, yeah.
That was game one, so no, so Damian takes the first.
Damian taking the serve with an ace.
Yes, indeed,
Not really
and
an ace.
he was on the play there.
Good rally.
So, yeah, good game. I would have favoured Josh in the first game here. I think Mud's usually favoured against most decks in game one. But it is...
8 Pyro seems to be...
8 Pyro.
You know,
made it all the way here. It deserves to be at the top table.
Beat me in game one, which apparently I have the better matchup for. But I think the mixture of Lightning Bolts and Swords to Plowshares provides a good answer to the base of creatures that Josh is running. And, you know, the rest of it's really decent. He gets access to Council's Judgment for some more Supreme Verdict-esque effects.
I think the swords are coming in.
I think
the rest of the swords to play. No, the rest of the swords to plowshares are on the board.
I think you want to be... I'm actually not against having some Path to Exiles in your sideboard.
It's fairly good. Against Mud, it's a sword to plowshares without any drawback whatsoever.
Yep.
But
it gets a lot of decks. It's gonna get there.
A lot of decks have basics though. Nowadays, Grixis is playing a lot of basics.
True. Yeah. I don't know. It's good against my deck.
Damian taking his preordains out. A lot of people do this sideboarding. I don't agree with it because I think that you need your dig spells to find your answers.
Yeah.
And if you go, you shouldn't be replacing them with answers.
No.
I'd much rather be able to preordain and have a look at 3 cards to see if I can hit my answer than rely on blindly drawing it. I'd say he should take his mental missteps out, which he's probably going to do.
Yep.
But I couldn't quite catch what those cards were. We'll have a look here. Misstep Pyromancer. Is it Preordained Pyromancer? Steel Sabotage. There's an Ingot Chewers. There's some Swords to Plowshares. So that's a pretty good board from Damian, actually.
Yep. Alright. I don't really like taking out the extra young Pyromancer as you need your threats. Josh is closer to a combo deck, and if you get a very good, just like boom, 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 and take out the 1 or 2 threats that he's played, you're in a pretty good position.
Indeed. Yeah, 8. I mean, he's only really got 8 ways of winning the game. Does Damian? The 8 Pyro.
Yeah.
Essentially. So to reduce that number is a bit risky because you do want to be able to finish a game once you've sort of eked an advantage or it's at a standstill.
And Jace isn't going to be that.
No, Jace should be leaving the game. I don't know.
I think maybe leaving one.
It's a hard call. It's a hard call. Ingot Chew are probably one of the best pieces of hate against Mud. Because
look, mate,
early game...
it's no kill switch.
Yeah, it's no kill switch. That's in a class of its own, of course, but you can evoke it for 1 early game. You can hard cast it late game. Really, really good at all stages of the game. Not affected by Lodestone Golem. You can play it through Chalice.
Yeah, it is affected by Lodestone Golem.
It's a non...
You can play it through Chalice.
Is affected by Lodestone Golem, not affected by Thorn of Amethyst.
That's right.
My apologies.
Which Josh is playing.
He is, yes. Sword's good against the tokens, so Damian well set up here. Well set up.
Josh has a very prison-esque style of deck.
It's actually changed since the last version. You note we haven't seen any Worm Coils, that's because he's removed them. We haven't seen any Forge Masters because he's removed them. So Thorns are up, Tanglewise are in instead of those.
Yeah, he seems to have gone for a more taxing plus some light threats in for that definite combo win.
So really only running 4 Lodestone, 4 Revoker, and 3 or 4 Metamorph. Yeah. The rest of it is taxing. Of course, the big hammer of the Marit Lage token is always...
looming.
Yeah, looming with this deck.
But, is it really like...
Yep.
I don't know. It seems a bit watered down without the Lodestones and without the Worm Coil.
Hey, he's ended up in the final, so...
Absolutely.
Having said, I'm not sure if the changes took place in the Swiss or in the final. I think maybe the finals that he changed it up. So still he's won 2 matches, so hey, who will be to judge? I saw there was a Strip Mine and a Epiphany Needle in Josh's hand.
Oh, that's definitely good.
And obviously the Epiphany Needle coming in for Dak Faden, being an excellent card.
Does he know it's Dak Faden?
Look, as soon as you see red in a deck, you know that Dak Faden's
possibly alive.
In Vintage, is possible. There's a reason why the foils are $300.
Holy balls.
Yes, I do want foiled decks. I have pretty much just given up on getting them because of that price. Even the normal ones are $50, so it just shows you that people recognise how strong they are in Legacy. Vintage, rather.
And just picking up more so as, people sort of get into that mentality of like, well, actually, this card's crazy good.
That's right. Damian mulliganing obviously didn't see enough hate and answers for his liking, given Josh will be on the play. Really difficult. Even if you mull to a hand with a good hate against Josh, you can do things like turn 1 Thorn of Amethyst, or turn 2 Lodestone Gold, and it sort of just bumps your hate back a turn each turn, and sometimes you can be sitting there with a really good hand, but still not be able to play any of your hate out until turn 3. It's really, really difficult.
And the worst case could possibly be even Mishra's Factory into Soul Ring, into Thorn of Amethyst, into second Thorn of Amethyst.
I've had him do that before. It's not very nice.
Look, he could even go turn 2, turn 1.
Was that triple Jace?
Oh, that should hopefully not be.
Pithing Needle, alright. So Dak Faden's out of the picture, I would imagine.
You're hoping so.
You would think that's what you'd name on a blind Pithing Needle against a deck with red in it.
Blue-red, yeah.
Blue-red, cool. Yeah. And there is a Chalice for 0. Obviously, Josh not having any more Moxen.
Okay.
A variety of 0 and 1 mana costing things out there, set up well.
Bam, Ratchet Bomb.
Would be entertaining. That is a Polluted Delta.
Yeah, it's good. A good play here from Damian.
We'll probably fetch a basic. No, you don't fetch basics here.
No.
He'll fetch his Volcanic Island, I'd say.
It's a swamp.
Or a Tundra. No, it is Volcanic.
I think you got the... I don't know.
Oh, it depends what's in your hand.
Absolutely. Decisions. This is a very hard game to play, and while Damian doesn't have the experience that Josh has, he did not play in the first Brisbane Vintage League, I don't believe. He is doing quite well for himself.
Yeah, very well. I see. Is that double swords on the end, or is that double Monastery Mentor?
I couldn't tell you.
So, Preordain. Setting up with a Force and another card. I can't quite make that out. Probably want to keep the Force, send the other card to the bottom.
I'm thinking so.
No.
That seems like a...
No, he's decided to keep both cards. That might have been a good card.
Fair enough.
Swords of Plowshares or something. But not very fast for Damian.
No, he's not getting out of the gates quick enough, and letting Archer have that untapped Expedition map is not good.
Josh is going to go for the Expedition map.
Going for it. I mean, yeah, you want to play land every turn, right?
I expect this means that he is out of mana in his hand. I expect he'll get a Mishra's Workshop here.
Mishra's Workshop? Nope.
No, Tolarian Academy. That's an even better Mishra's.
Big fan of that one.
Big fan of that one. Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah,
so
cuts off Kataki pretty well too.
It is a better Mishra's Workshop here.
Definitely.
Because it will tap for 3. He'll play it.
Definitely. And
he may have a 3-ball. May have the Trinisphere. No, just a Revoker. Again, probably going to double name Dak Faden. Just to be safe.
Mix it up between the Pithing Needle and the Revoker.
That's right.
Which means you're probably going to likely go for that Revoker, but you could also hit that Pithing Needle.
Exactly right.
Just diversifying threats is always a big proponent of this game.
Indeed. So, Damian, is he out of mana? He is. He hasn't got any mana.
Ooh, that's not good.
So, he's going to have a look. He hasn't seen any here. I think that's a Gush.
It looks like a Mystic Remora. No, surely that's not non-mana. He's got to have mana if he's...
No, he doesn't have mana.
You can't.
You can't.
No.
You I would have shipped if I hadn't had mana, I would have shipped both of those preordains to try and
to.
find it. That was obviously a risky play because
And
now he's
Josh
relying.
is going to capitalise on
Exactly
that.
right. He's gone to strip it.
You can't.
Oh, and now
You cannot show weakness.
this is vintage. You
Go
can
for the throat!
you can have a good start and then just be reduced to no permanents on the board. That is a lodestone golem. So
Josh is going for the throat
big
here.
clock here.
Yep.
There's a waste. Is that a mana? No, I don't think that was mana. He's going to scoop. That's enough. Probably less than optimal plays with his preordains there, Damian. But Josh had the cards to make him pay for it, and we're off to a third game.
Absolutely. And
That's just the highlights the power of mud
you
there.
can't. I don't think you can ever keep a one-lander in vintage with no Moxen or...
Look, I don't mind it, but you've got to make your priority finding the second or third
Absolutely,
land. So
and
you
you
really
can't-
need to send your preordains.
You certainly
down.
can't leave two things on top that aren't...
That aren't land, yeah.
That
It's
aren't
just-
land. Especially when you've got that looming strip
mine sitting there, you
in
know
your face.
you're going to get hit
That
by
was
it.
a ballsy play.
Yeah, it was. Didn't work out for him, but that's okay. 1-1. Still can win this. Still in this.
For sure.
Josh is still in it, of course, as well. Talk a bit about vintage in Brisbane. If you haven't been keeping up on Facebook, Legacy Tuesdays, Brisbane Magic Plays Brew, if you haven't been watching Full House games, welcome, and vintage is really booming in Brisbane at the moment.
Yep.
Lots of people getting power, lots of people interested in the Vintage League. The Vintage League is 75 card proxy, so
I'll correct
anyone...
you there. It's 250 cards.
It is 250 card proxy. Come and play Battle of Wits in Vintage. It'll be hilarious. No, you can play a deck as big as you like, as long as you can shuffle it without assistance.
With one hand. No.
But the league is open to all because it's easily accessible. You get on the internet. There's a plethora of websites you can use to print proxies. You can have the cool art from Magic Online for the Moxen and the Forces and the Mana Drains, which Caleb did.
Yep.
If you look at his coverage playing Burning Oath. League is usually 8 rounds of Swiss. You have 1 week to play your match. However, in the next league, I think we are going back to 2 matches every fortnight, so it'll make it a little bit easier logistically. Josh, for example, is in Gympie, so that'll make it a lot easier for him. Entry fee will let you play 8 weeks of Magic. You can change your deck every week. Have a great...
Every second week.
Every second week, with the fortnightly pairings. Every second week, you have fun, experiment with some decks. If you like Damian, make your top 8 in your first Vintage League.
Yep. Myself too.
Yes, Caleb did as well.
Yep.
Took me 2. I didn't make top 8 in the last one. I needed this one. I think that says something about my level of Magic, to be honest. I love the format, love playing. Really, I'm not a great player, but everyone who plays Vintage is very friendly, and you'll enjoy coming down, having games.
There's a hidden benefit to Josh's mustachioed...
You can see which way your deck's pointing.
I know, it's so good.
I just realised that myself.
I always have to check. I flick the card and then I'm like, I'm worried that I'm cheating here.
Yes.
I think I'm going to get some
mustache sleeves?
Yeah.
Alright. You need to grow a mustache to match the sleeves, or at least have a stick-on one for the purposes of the game, though.
For sure. Cut one out.
Mulliganing.
Look, I don't think it's a bad idea if you're Damian.
No. Damian mulliganing.
He obviously saw the folly of keeping that one lander hand,
Yep.
and you don't want to risk it again.
Yep.
While Strip Mine's a one-of, Wasteland
is a 4-off. Yes, Wasteland's a full play set in Josh's deck. And he also plays 3 Crucible post boards, so if he hits one of those, you're looking at a lot of lands going to the graveyard. I think Damian only runs 1 basic island. So...
yep, that sounds about right. 1 or 2.
He's very vulnerable to Wasteland. So he'll have to be hoping that he has Gushes to save his lands.
Oh, gosh, beautiful.
Haha, it's good play.
Yeah,
very good play.
Absolutely. All the old Deathrite Shaman, eat something from your graveyard. Dig through time in response.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. Remember, folks, Deathrite Shaman is not a mana ability. It's an activated ability.
Yeah.
If anyone tries to do it...
you can do it in response.
Yes, and if someone is playing a spell and hasn't activated the Death Right Shaman first, they cannot do that during the resolution of the spell. When they come to pay the mana cost, they have to have done it before. So interesting facts you need to keep in mind in Vintage.
Yep. Net someone a failure to cast spell.
Yeah, you can be looking at a warning if you do that, so be very careful about that. Damian has his 6. Just making sure it is in fact 6, which it is. There we go. His deck was upside down. If you'd been playing Mustache Sleeves, wouldn't be a problem.
Mustache Sleeves. Josh, hook us up.
Yes, you can get them from Good Games, along with probably everything bar the kitchen sink. Oh, Damian, going 5. This is the first double mulligan we've seen so far.
Now look, if he wins this though...
Yes, it would be legendary. It would be wait for it. Dairy. Indeed. Josh just sitting calm here. He's happy with his 7. He's happy, of course, that he's made the second consecutive top 8 in the Vintage Leagues, second consecutive final in the Vintage Leagues. So
he is the man to beat.
Let's just have a think about this. First league, we paid $40 entry. He won a Mox Emerald. This league, $40 entry. Wins at least the Library of Alexandria. That's $80 investment for $1,000 profit. So,
you should come play.
Come play, man. You can win amazing prizes. It's great fun. And Josh is such a good bloke that even if he does win, we won't begrudge him. We might make him get a tattoo in regarding being a champion of Vintage League.
Yep.
I'm sure he'll be able to do it himself. He's a tattoo artist.
Yep, for sure.
Damian on 5.
Mustachioed light bulb there. In the Mox Pearl.
He's
keeping it.
Has a land.
He's keeping it.
Has a land.
He is on the play.
He is on the play. That's all he can do. So
looks like he has an Ancestral Recall or a Brainstorm there, though. So.
Ancestral would be beautiful.
Ancestral basically putting him back up to not having mulligans at all.
That's right. But we will see what Josh does. Thinking carefully, obviously got an option here that is provides him with a different angle. I wonder what it could be.
Ancient Tomb.
Goes to 18.
Very
map
slow to not slow as a bad thing, but very
Vaults.
Measured and determined.
Josh plays very methodically. What is that?
That's an Ancestral Recall.
That is an Ancestral Recall. So really one of the best 5-card mulligans you could hope for. He's almost back up to parity now. He'll have 7 cards to open up.
He's effectively had a mull down to 6 here, right?
Yes, that's right.
No,
he's
even
like
better. It was a 7-card hand.
Exactly right. So
it was just being on the draw.
That's why Treasure Cruise is banned somewhat, because drawing 3 cards is actually fairly ridiculous.
For one mana. For one mana.
Josh,
let's stipulate.
Playing down. Is that a Trinisphere?
I think it's a Lodestone.
No, it's not a Lodestone. Oh no, it can't be Lodestone Golem. It hasn't got the mana to play it. Use the tomb mana on the map in the vault. Must be a Trinisphere. Or it could be a Tangle... Oh, no, Tangle Wire, probably. No, it can't be a Tangle Wire. He's not tapped down. It must be Trinisphere.
Yep, so good start. And
takes Josh, 1 damage from mana
Josh
vault.
Going to take 3 damage, so he's been bolted effectively.
Yes, that's right. He's down to 17. So, looking... to play a Thespian stage, so we now have...
see why he's going so ham.
We now have the combo on the board available.
Is that a cool doll
to be fetched? Master? No, that's a Lodestone Golem.
Oh no.
So tough situation for Damian here.
Damian can do something. A bolt is live. Bolt's what you want.
It is. More importantly, swords is what you want now. Facing down the possibility.
You're going to need a bolt first for that Lodestone. And then
the swords, yeah.
Well, I mean, swords by itself would do it, but if you're having to swords the token and then, deal with this.
Exactly. Damian just checking the interaction between Trinisphere and Lodestone Golem, and it's worth mentioning because when you are calculating the final cost of the spell, Trinisphere is always applied last.
Correct.
So a bolt in this case would cost 1 plus 1 for the Lodestone Golem. Apply the Trinisphere last, comes up to 3. However, a 2 costing spell Cost 1 more with Lodestone Golem. Apply the Trinisphere. Already 3, so it stays at 3.
Correct.
3 casting cost spell. Apply the Lodestone Golem to 4. Trinisphere applies. It's more than 4, so it would stay at 4. So you've got to be very careful in calculating there. So Damian looks like he's going to play something through the Trinisphere because he's fetching. Maybe he is going to bolt that Lodestone Golem.
Yep, and I'm not against this purely for the fact that Josh is playing artifacts, so it doesn't affect him anyway, and that does mean that he can force of will if he has to, but also because that token's not going to be able to hit him for at least 2 turns. He's got to fetch it first, and he's all tapped out, and then got to make it as well.
That's right.
And that is going to cost Josh at least 4 life at this stage.
Yeah, because unless he draws another mana source, he's got to kick on.
Unless he draws another Moxen too.
Yeah, he could draw another Mox.
That's the crucial part there.
That's right, that'd be nice. But still, that's a good position for Josh. He's got board position. He's got some disruption for Damian's spells. He's got a threat beating down. He's got the backup of the Marit Lage token.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good position, but with some careful finagling.
Yes.
Damian could get out of this one.
Yes, he can't maneuver, must finagle.
Mm.
It needs to be finagling in the situation.
Absolutely.
Maneuvering is not enough.
No, it's
less a type of
tighter.
action. Yeah, exactly right. So let's see what Damien is going to do right here. Oh, Tangle Wire would be brutal right now.
You could be in trouble.
Would be brutal right now.
Time walking?
Yes,
time
it is time walking. So
alright, I like it.
Let's explore for $700.
He does have the land in his hands.
He does, so might as well do it. Gets him to 4 mana.
I see people calling this Explore all the time, and the reason it's $700 for this Explore is because you also untap your lands.
It's blue too.
It's blue. It pitches the Force of Will, but disregarding that,
it isn't as good as...
It untaps your lands.
It does untap your land.
It untaps your lands, which is crazy strong in any format.
It is. Perhaps putting it on par with the double Explore, the Bertoncini double Explore.
The Bertoncini.
The Bertoncini double Explore.
Oh, the old Bertoncini double Explore.
Also, Bertoncini Brainstorm's strictly superior to Ancestral Recall.
Oh, for sure. Keeping 5 cards in your hand and not putting any back?
Yeah.
Don't know what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, well, if you're interested and you haven't seen those videos, I'm sure a Google search will reveal them to you.
Look for Bertoncini, CINI, or Cheaty if you're...
I think the Google results returned will be the same. Yeah. So, there's some unfortunate incidences of cheating in the Star City Gomes Open Legacy Series.
They
Standard Open Series. They did, unfortunately, only after he'd received all of that.
Yeah.
Power 9 and a check for $10,000.
I think they bounced the check.
I think they did.
In saying that, we're not here to name and shame.
We are not.
It is an infamous
event
in Magic's history.
It is. We don't have anyone like that in the Vintage League. Just like to point out, everyone here,
everyone likes
friendly,
to keep it nice
polite, plays well above board.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Again, another reason to come and play with us.
Yeah, spot on.
75 proxies, people. 75 proxies. You can do whatever you like in the format.
Except cheat.
Except that. Oh, we got an Ingot Chewer.
Ingot Chewer.
On the Expedition map. That's a good play.
All right.
Cutting him off the Thespian Stage Dark Depths combo, but...
Watch him rip it off the top.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. Hasn't, but swinging with Lodestone Golem for 5, so that's a good play. I wonder if Damian has another Ingot Chewer in hand. Ooh, that's a good card to draw with the Trinisphere. So unless he has another land now, he's off all of his spells. I'd say... no. What's going on here?
Tapping 3.
Tapping 3. I think this might be Tangle Wire. No, it's a Revoker.
Okay.
Wants to keep his stage open for some reason.
It doesn't tap enough mana. It doesn't tap for enough mana.
Oh, it doesn't. Trinisphere, of course. Has Damian got the land?
I mean, you could probably...
No, he hasn't. Oh, dear. It might be a replay of...
one-sided very quickly. And this is... Well, no, I mean, I guess it doesn't change because he strip mines you anyway and Trinisphere's still in play.
It does.
But maybe that's why you kill the strip mine instead of the lodestone.
You kill the lodestone instead of the map, you mean?
Well, you kill the Trinisphere and then...
You do.
And then you're working live with 2 mana.
You are, yes, but... Oh, wow. Mishra's Workshop. This might enable something big in his hand, but no, he hasn't got it. Just passes the turn.
And if this is...
That's enough for Damian. Again, mana is undoing Josh. Very, very strong draw to capitalise on that.
And Josh has broken serve too, which is...
He has, yes, significant in Vintage.
So we're going into Game 3.
Game 4.
Game 4.
Game 4, so Josh is now 2-1 up.
Correct.
And Damian immediately reaches to the board.
Yep.
I think he has some adjustments in mind.
Yep.
He's already got the Ingot Chewers in. Maybe those steel... Are they steel sabotages? I'm not sure. If not, they should have been in. But I think you might see some Jaces go out here.
Most definitely. I think Jace is probably too high on curve. Like, it's quite good for dealing with a token.
But with all the taxing Josh has, and with all the wastelands and strip mines, crucibles to recur those, chances of you getting it in, being able to protect it from the rampaging lodestones and revokers is low.
Yeah. So it's really a 4-mana brainstorm at that point, or a 4-mana fate seal.
Or a 4-mana do nothing if he's got a revoker, so that's what you've got to be worried about. Josh also making a few adjustments, I think, to the board. I didn't see what he put in though. Sure, it's good.
Fate seal only exists on Jace and one other card, right? I believe it's a sliver.
No. It is on Spin into Myth.
Oh.
A card that sees plays in Commander.
Really?
Return target creature to the top of its owner's library, then Fate Seal that opponent.
Oh!
So, of course, it's used in Commander to bounce commanders. And
the old tuck commander into tunnel vision win.
Yeah, condemn, things like condemn, dissipate. Oh no, dissipate doesn't work, does it?
It's hinder.
Hinder is the one that it is, putting on the top of the library. Bottom of the library. There was another one, wasn't there, that was printed especially in Commander. 3-mana counterspell.
Fate Seal 2. Put any number of them on the bottom of that.
I think that was the first mention of Fate Seal. Because
Time Spiral?
That...
Future Sight, sorry.
Future Sight, yeah.
It also exists on a sliver card.
Okay. Is it all slivers?
Mesmeric Sliver. Also from Future Sight.
Sack. Fate
all
Seal
slivers have, when this permanent comes into play,
Fate Seal 1. Oh, that's good. So obviously they had plans to print the most busted Planeswalker ever in Time Spiral.
And then they were like, we'll just put it, 4 abilities, that's whatever.
Well, that was when they originally conceived Planeswalkers, was in Time Spiral. Future Sight, because Goyf was printed.
It wasn't Lorwyn?
No. They were conceived, but they were only printed in Lorwyn. They were conceived in Future Sight because Goyf says Planeswalker on it.
Really? The original Goyf?
I'm pretty sure the original Goyf says Planeswalker on it.
I'm going to confirm some history here.
So the first Planeswalker ever printed was Elspeth Knight Errant. That was in Alara. And then...
Future Sight.
No, sorry.
The card types are artifact,
creature,
enchantment, instant land, planeswalker, sorcery, and trial.
Elspeth wasn't the first Planeswalker printed. Lorwyn was when Planeswalkers came out.
Yeah, which was before.
The best Planeswalker was printed at the time was Elspeth in Alara. Then Jace was printed. Yeah. Did you end up finding Tamagotchi?
Yep, it's on there. It's definitely on there.
There you go.
Is Future Sight before Lorwyn?
Yes.
Wow. There you go.
Yes, Future Sight is before Lorwyn.
Interesting that they came up with that, because they did not, in fact, mention constructs on there. Another mythological card from Magic's past.
Construct. Yeah. Not a creature, not a type of card, though.
Assemble a construct.
Yes.
The old Goblin Worker, I think.
Exactly, and I think that a Metal Worker is a construct as well now. Creature construct. That's a subtype, though.
Yes.
I think Josh take a mulligan in
Assemble a construct is literally only exists on this one card that no one ever has anymore, and is very odd. Just the wording of it, and the fact that we've never seen a construct.
Exactly right. Well, maybe they'll bring them back. You never know. Wizards are doing all sorts of things, like reprinting more versions of Llanowar Elves and new versions of Grizzly Bears and this and that. So
bears are 4/2s now. What's going on?
Yeah. Gone where bears were.
Gone are the days of hate bears where they're all 2/2s.
Yep.
Now they're 4/2s.
Yeah, you just get things like Sea Rhino.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yes, it is. What's also ridiculous is that this match is going on, and we're here talking about Planeswalkers.
Look,
so let's get back to some.
Faden's an important one.
It is. Let's get back to Vintage, and it was rather
dirtily started.
Yeah, really
players.
land go from both players. Not what you're wanting to see, and also
we don't want to brainstorm lock.
No, you never want to do this.
You
and
don't.
I think he's missed. No, there was a fetch land.
He's hit it on the very last
He's
card.
got a fetch land. Ho ho. Alright, so he's done very well. He'll be able to get rid of some chafe, make his land drop.
I think he's got 2 Monastery Mentors there too.
Ooh, gee. Could be
spice.
Quick.
And a young Pyromancer, which means...
Yes, some quick beats there if he can get enough mana to play that down. There is the Scalding Tarn. Saved his bacon there. Just a reminder to put his Brainstorm in the graveyard, which he does. In response, interesting to see what Josh is going to pull out. Stage. Takes 2 damage. Trinisphere. Big play. Big play.
Force the Will here?
I don't think he does.
That's alright.
He's got a Gush. Won't do that.
No, you can't Gush.
Won't do that though, as he's going to crack that fetch land in turn. So yeah, Josh plays out really a card that throws a spanner in the works.
Well, doesn't
whenever it does, whenever it comes down, it just slows you. Especially for these decks that play so many 1 mana spells, just slows you down. You've got to really rethink your whole plan in your head when it hits the board.
Most definitely.
And if you can't do that effectively, you miscalculate something, you might leave yourself short, and that could be fatal for you.
And you could even end up getting a bunch of game loss warnings.
Yeah, you could too. Always remember to carefully count how much mana you're going to need.
Sure.
So, looks like Damian... I don't see what he's planning on doing. Nothing. Draws a card.
Just, cracking a fetch, getting rid of the extra cards.
Rip the land off the top. When he makes his land drops, this man.
Certainly does.
He is going to fetch out...
I'm curious as to the fact that he doesn't have a plateau in the deck.
For off-colour, yeah.
Yeah, just maybe even a one-of.
Yeah, it is, but you're just so dependent on being able to access blue. If you draw it off the top, and it could have been a Volk, or a Tundra or a fetch land, you'd be hating yourself. So I can see why he's not playing it.
Yeah.
Is that an Energy Flux? That's an Energy Flux! Oh, things just got interesting.
Does this prevent all damage?
No, and Energy Flux is all artifacts gain at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 2 colourless mana for it. So
does it have a cumulative upkeep?
It does not. It just sits there, and Josh is going to let his Trinisphere die.
That's good. It's very good.
Really
restricted
in Vintage, yes, for a reason. Now we will see what Josh can do here.
Is that a Metalworker?
That's a Tanglewire. That's Tanglewire right off me.
So writing it now.
He's Josh had to read Damian's Energy Flux, and now Damian has to read Josh's Tanglewire.
Can you tap down enchantments?
You cannot. You cannot. It's artifacts, creatures, or lands only. So there's another Thespian stage. Now has enough mana to pay for the Energy Flux on Tanglewire without pinging himself for 2 every turn. So Damian has to play... he's got a land. It's good for him.
Yeah.
Pass the turn. So put all these triggers on the stack. Sort out which order they're in. Josh will make sure that they're all stacked appropriately. I'm not sure what happened. Oh yes, I am. Yeah.
He's paying 2 mana.
No, and then tapping the tomb for the for the Tanglewire. Good play.
The strictly better line.
The strictly better line indeed. So. With Energy Flux on the board, Damian is now going to be free to develop his board a little. He has an Ingot Sugar in hand, so he can get rid of anything.
But do you need to, though?
We'll see. He's cracking his fetch land here.
Josh has got to pay 2 mana every turn for that thing anyway, so you might as well, save it for when he drops that load soon golem next
Yeah,
turn.
I would have thought that you'd try to ride out the Tangle Wire, given that Josh has no pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bit inopportune timing for Josh at this stage to drop that Tangle Wire.
Well, I think he was definitely... It's definitely good for him because I think he does need to slow the game down here because he needs to develop his mana base enough to pay Energy Flux.
Oh, for sure. But
It would be inopportune for Damian to Ingot Chewer the Tangle Wire.
looks like he's only fetched an island.
So he's not going to do that. Is that a Mystic Room?
It is a Mystic Remora.
Surprising he's still got that in the deck.
Yeah,
not the
well,
greatest if you're facing down creatures.
Josh really only has 4 creatures. 5, 8,
12 creatures.
12 creatures.
Well, Phyrexian Metamorph is a creature if it copies a
Yeah.
creature, of course.
But it's when you cast, so it's still a creature anyway.
So, Josh really shut down here at the moment. Hopefully has ripped a land. And he has. It's a Buried Ruin too.
A Phyrexian Metamorph.
And I would imagine it's going to copy his own Tangle Wire.
Probably. That gets a lot better now that there's 2 of them.
So, that should trigger a Remora. And I don't believe...
No, it's a creature card when you play it. It doesn't change until it enters play.
Yep. But... Oh, yes, I understand. Yeah, good point.
Similar to the gods.
Yeah, good point. Good point. It's a creature card on the stack, and that's when Remora looks at it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fair enough. So, cumulative upkeep.
Yeah, so you've got to tap down quite a lot here. Gush would be very timely, effectively netting him 2 mana, or 1 mana.
Exactly right.
However, he is gonna. It looks like Josh is gonna lose that Tangle Wire next turn.
No, there's still 2 counters on
There's
it.
still 2 counters. Yeah, so 1 counter left on it, and so effectively having 1 Tangle Wire. I don't know. Maybe you save that Phyrexian Metamorph for something else.
Yeah, I'm really still worried about the energy flux because I don't know if Josh has any way to remove that. We've just got the judge stepping in here.
I think this is in regards to paying for Mystic Remora, but he can float the mana anyway, so...
If he stacked his trigger the wrong way, though...
It's regardless, he can float the mana.
He can float the mana, but whether he did float the mana is the question.
I believe he pointed to paying for Mystic Remora. That's what he explained to the...
Yep, that looks like
judge.
it. Looks like it. Alright, so Josh again figuring out how to stack his own triggers.
Yeah, very important too.
Because you can stack your Tangle Wire triggers to be most advantageous to you, and also the Energy Flux trigger.
Also importantly, the Energy Flux is owned by you.
Yeah, because
so it's not an opponent.
That's right, because
which is weird.
Gives your artifacts that ability.
Mm.
So yes, you are correct. Josh is trying to figure out what the hell to do here. He's going to let both of his Tangle Wires die.
Wow, okay.
So let's see what he has to do. Interesting, and Judge just having a quick look at Tangle Wire.
Well, he does have Buried Ruin, so...
Just making sure that... Yeah, and he is going to perhaps Buried Ruin. No, he's not. He's playing something from his hand, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Expedition map. I'm not sure why all of his lands are tapped. Because of the Tangle Wire, of course. But he does now have access to the combo.
Correct, but is it going to be enough? He's taken quite a bit of pain.
There's no pressure from Damian's side, though.
This is true. A bit of camera wobbling there, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, I think it's going to be...
Did he remember to draw for that Mystic Remora?
He did not.
It doesn't seem to have served him that well.
No, it doesn't. Gonna let it die. Map's going to eat an ingot chewer here.
Yeah, that seems like
Unfortunately.
a strictly better line.
Unfortunately for Josh, Damian seemed to have heaps of land in play.
7 cards, going to trigger that Library of Alexandria.
Is that a library?
There's a library.
And drawn a young Pyromancer off it, it looks like.
That's good.
But now the ingot chewer will destroy the map. Might have even considered the alternative line there, which would have been not to use the library and to hardcast the ingot chewer to give himself a clock.
Okay.
But he's got a Monastery Mentor, strictly better clock than ingot chewer, so it did make the right play.
Yep.
So Josh facing down...
A little better there.
Yeah, a little better. Josh facing down the new Pyro, one of the 2 Pyros. Get to see it in action finally.
Can someone do the logarithmic math for me and find out at what point it's better to start casting spells on your second turn for triggering prowess with this guy?
Interesting.
Because there's obviously like a curve at which point like
Josh
casting all the spells to make dudes is worse than casting spells and getting the dudes, swinging, and then waiting a turn, and then casting more spells for the extra prowess.
Yes, that's true. Josh
lordy.
Has used his very
Mental
ruin
misstep
to get back his expedition map, played the map, and has run straight into a mental misstep. So that's really unfortunate for him.
Especially with a Monastery Mentor in play. That's a
Indeed.
free...
It's a free token.
1/1, which is probably going to be a bit more than that.
It will. Josh paying more life.
Yeah, he's a
Paying
bit of a
more
masochist
life.
here.
He's got a Crucible of the World, so we're going to see him have another go at getting that map back with his Buried Ruin. He's going to play it out again.
Can he take the damage, though?
Yeah, he's taken a lot of damage. And he could before. Now the Monastery Mentor's on the battlefield, however, it's a different story.
Exactly. There's a lot more
and plays a
threat
Mox Jet.
and pressure.
Plays the Phyrexian Revoker.
And he's still got to pay for those 2 as well.
He does, so he's got to use all of his...
3 even. He's got a Mox.
He's got a Mox, yeah. I'm actually surprised he played that out.
Well, he needed the mana for dropping the...
He did need the mana for dropping the Revoker in the map, but...
Yeah.
And he can float mana from the Mox in response to pay for those.
For sure.
So they do keep him...
It is effectively a bolt. It's a mana for a turn.
So Energy Flux, ladies and gentlemen, a good sideboard card in Vintage. Makes
For
it
Josh.
against Mud, very, very difficult for them to overcome.
Yeah.
As you're seeing here.
Combined with Kataki as well is...
Yes, oh, that would be very nasty.
Bit rude.
A little bit rude. We have another Ingot Chewer evoking here to kill the map to kill the Crucible yet again.
Good.
Yet again, but he has got the Buried Ruin back onto the battlefield, which was the goal. Makes some more tokens and makes the tokens he has bigger.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So now that Mentor is a 3/3. Is Mentor 2/3 or 3/4?
It's a 2/2.
2/2. So
It's a 3/3 now.
and a 2/2 token.
Absolutely.
5 damage compared, and he's going to block and trade with that.
What do you even care? It's a free token.
Yeah, exactly right.
Maybe cast a brainstorm in response. Deal an extra 1 damage and survive.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible for Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't seem like such a bad play. Maybe run out a young Pyromancer.
I think he might do that.
Just
No,
put
he's
it-
passing the turn.
I like it to just put a little bit of extra
So, Energy
pressure on the board.
Flux. Let's his Mox go.
A grade card for, this sort of game.
So yeah, Josh probably letting his Mox go here. No. He's using his Buried Ruin in response. Third time around for the map.
Interesting. I like the play. It's good. Very...
Doesn't
highly
need it.
technical.
Draws the depths naturally.
But is it going to be enough?
Look, I don't know. I really don't know because There's
Damian could just respond and fling a bunch of spells.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. That's the dig through time.
Dig through time, particularly spicy here.
And
hopefully making sure to get that token.
Yes.
He is reaching for his graveyard, so he's fine there. Oh no.
Forgotten the token.
Triple Force of Will.
C3 Force of Will. Useless to stop the combo present, but still a very good dig through time.
Absolutely. And I think Josh is only around, 4 or 5 life here. From all this pain that he's been taking. It's, not the best thing in the world, right?
Thinking very carefully now.
Yeah. And hopefully that missing token hasn't cost him this game.
Yes, that's right.
Or could we see maybe a gush in response? Yeah.
You're correct. Remember the token for the old Monstrumental. This time.
So young. And this is, I think, going to be lethal if he has 2 spells he can cast next turn. Because, of course, they will trigger prowess.
Correct.
And even with the token, he's going to make...
And that'll be an extra 6 damage.
Yeah. And Josh is going to have to, take another 2 from that Ancient Tomb.
Yep, that's right. Might not be in the position to get there. Correctly identifies
cast something in response.
That his own energy flux. Maybe floated some mana there. No, he didn't.
No,
just goes.
Doesn't seem like a.
It's got preordained. So.
Preordained's going to cut it. Maybe he has another gush. Just checking the giant 2020 flying indestructible crazy dude that's going to be made. Whatever, it's no biggie.
I can just ignore it with my tokens.
Yeah.
So Damian goes in the tank. I think. Thinking about whether he can kill Josh this turn, and as we've identified, he needs 2 spells. He's got a preordain, likely going to find him another one.
For sure. I think Monastery Mentor is very good when you can Swords to Plowshare and make yourself a lot of life.
Identifies all of the triggers.
Good. Very nice. That's what you want. You want that extra token just in case. I'm pretty sure he's got this all wrapped up now, but you don't want to. You don't need or want to get sloppy for the sake of, being greedy.
And I think he's found goes to the bottom,
which is fair. Draw a card that you can cast right now. Looks like a Brainstorm.
I thought it was a Gitaxian Probe actually.
Gitaxian Probe, equally good. Ponder,
yeah, and Josh has seen enough.
No
Scoops them up.
again.
That's 2-2. Well played by Damian.
2-2.
Fought off 3 attempts to get that Expedition map into play.
Yep.
Finally, it didn't matter because Josh drew the depths, but by that stage it was too late, and the big Monastery Mentor and tokens there was enough to finish the
Beautiful.
game.
Good sequencing. Damien, if he had been a little bit more careful with his token...
Could have had an extra one, yeah. Might not have been under as much pressure to
do some combat math or find an extra card.
That's right.
As it would have been lethal if he had just remembered that token. But, gets there in the end, and that's the whole reason we have these proxy tournaments, right? So you can live and learn and get better as a Magic player.
Exactly right, and that's why we also do the commentary, because
for sure.
Up here we probably able to see things that down there you miss.
Yep. We're not, and you're not all the pro players in the world. So
exactly right. Well, I wouldn't think to have anything to say about Louis Scott Vargas's actions in his vintage. There's a vintage league.
Vintage Super League.
Vintage Super League. Yeah. Speaking of vintage,
their metagame is so inbred.
While we're having our vintage league here, what has happened is that a number of pro players have got together and they started a vintage Super League. And there's
started after the BVL, I believe.
Yeah.
So we are obviously trendsetters down here in Brisbane.
Exactly
up here
right.
in Brisbane.
Exactly right. No, but I understand they play Vintage on Magic Online.
Yes.
And there are people such as Louis Scott Vargas. There is Tom Martell.
Mm-hmm. Randy Bueller.
Randy Bueller. Everyone loves Randy Bueller. Everyone loves to be called Randy Bueller. What a great name. He's playing. We've got John Finkel. No, not John Finkel. Chris Pakula.
Yep.
He's playing. I believe that Stephen Menendian is playing.
The old
Patrick Chapin maybe is playing.
Oh, nice.
But there's a couple of other pros that I don't know.
Yep.
But quality of the players in that
and very good commentary there
makes it very good commentary, makes it really a must watch. And they all stream live on Monday mid-morning our time in Brisbane here, or you can watch the replays of course on the channel. So just Google Vintage Super League, you get through to that. Of course it will not be as exciting as the coverage of this BVL 2
Mate, you can't
on
be
Full House Games.
Real, live, vintage.
Exactly right.
Slightly proxied with moustaches.
Yes, with moustache sleeves, and it is the moustache sleeves that are making.
And tattoo sleeves too.
Yes,
Sleeves
on sleeves, some sleeves, every type of sleeve you want.
Yep.
We've got short sleeves, we've got long sleeves, we've got no sleeves,
Tattoo
sleeves and moustache sleeves. We've got everything.
Silver sleeves,
Yes.
pure gold.
It is. It's great. And shuffling up for this fifth and final game to find out who takes that time vault home and who has to settle for the Library of Alexandria.
You know what? Who cares?
Beautiful
cards.
I think I think I would care. Josh just shaking it out.
Shake it off, Josh.
Shaking it out. Went to 5 games
Taylor Swift
in the final last Vintage League against Dan King. Goes to 5 games again.
Yep. And hopefully, no game losses this time.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
You
unfortunately,
would hate for there to be a game loss.
Unfortunately, Dan King copped a game loss in the 4th game.
4th round where
he was
he
2-1 up.
To win it. Too.
He was 2-1 up. He committed an infraction. I believe it was not paying for a spell through something like a lodestone goal or a thorn of amethyst, and unfortunately copped the game loss for that.
Yep. Due to prior warnings.
I think it was prophetic because that did enable the Witchbane Orb play.
That did, yes. The classic Witchbane Orb.
The
Witchbane
Orb heard around the world, as they say. The guys are looking carefully at their hands here. Usually Josh will put his hand down once he's decided to keep it. So he must have a fairly difficult decision here.
Unless he is, of course, making a play for turn 1.
Unless he is, of course, making a play for turn 1.
Let's just shout out those magic symbols once again on Josh's arm there.
That is really good.
Check him out up in Gympie. I don't know who he works for.
He doesn't. If you do want a tattoo, chat to Josh. He's always there on Tuesdays.
Yep.
Get in contact with him on Facebook.
Yep. He's got some good work up there.
He does. Yeah. Most of some of the work on him is done himself. But yeah, done a couple of tattoos on people.
Just a few.
Magic tattoos on people.
He's going to mulligan.
He's going to mulligan. Not really what you want in the 5th and final game, but he's on the draw, so he does get to take a card.
He's on the play, in fact, because Damian just won.
Oh, sorry, you're right. So it's even worse.
And Damian decided to keep, which is good.
Good sign. Probably some serious hate packed into that hand there. Hopefully some ingot chewers.
Hopefully he can clutch out this game once again with some... you want some early threats... Young Pyromancer on turn 2 into, Josh. Josh seems to be stalling for quite some time when he doesn't hit those lodestone golems.
Yeah, and that's a byproduct of removing the worm coils.
Yeah.
And removing the Cold Oath Forge Masters.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think I have a big tendency towards them. They seem very good as cards.
I'd probably remove the Forge Masters before I would remove the worm coils.
Definitely.
Because I understand that in traditional mud deck, the Forge Master gets
Blightsteel Colossus,
Blightsteel or Staff, and you go infinite with it. But in this case, I think the best thing he's got to get is a Staff and Knit, which is good. Not game winning though, and I don't know if it's worth sacrificing 3 artifacts for.
Yeah, there's no sort of crazy combos in this deck that are artifact reliant.
That's right. I mean, he could put them in, but I think he's already got the combo with the Dark Depths and Despot stage.
He's picked his win con and he's gone for it.
Yeah, he's sticking with it.
It seems as though he may have slightly diluted himself.
Ha-ha!
However,
speaking of win cons, he's got a way to it now. He can get both parts of the combo with what's on the board.
Yeah, it will take him 2 turns, but another Ancient Tomb will
speed the process up.
Double that up to 1.
Exactly right. Over to Damian, drops a Volcanic Island.
Is that an Ingot Chewer?
It may be.
I mean, I'm playing it on turn 1. It's a turn 1 play, and it's going to cut off his... Yep,
alright,
beautiful.
So Ingot Chewer map. Still got a map left, though. So if he manages...
And it's not like Josh doesn't always draw live anyway.
That's right. So, Lodestone
Golem.
Josh is on 14, so he's taken 6 damage already through those tombs, and
it
eats a force.
Oh, that's beautiful. Pitching Fire Ice. I'm not a huge fan of. Fire Ice is a...
It's a good card at this point.
Yep.
Burns Revokers.
Yep.
Taps Lodestones.
Yep.
Most importantly, taps token.
Yep. Also taps land too if Josh happens to stall. But I think I spotted a Jace in his hand, which I'm in favour of him shutting off.
Yeah.
Pitching to force, as it were, because it's unlikely, as we said previously.
Yeah, getting to 4 mana might be a bit difficult. Although, if he thinks he can get there.
I don't know. I think Fire Ice has a lot more utility.
It is a very utility card.
Throughout the entire course of the game.
Exactly right. It gives you that extra turn using the tap down ability. Keeps you safe from that Marit Lage token. Gives you that important turn. We all know...
Yeah. And 1 turn is crucial, as we saw in the last game.
Very, very crucial.
Josh couldn't pull it off because of...
Young Pyromancer.
Oh, young PYC.
Alright, he's in the house, good to go. Josh is stuck with Double Tomb, which is going to hurt him a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Already on 14. Nothing to show for it except a single expedition map. Now goes down to 12.
Is he going to crack that expedition map, or is it something else that looks like...
Playing a Chalice for 1.
Chalice for 1.
So,
again, where Fire and Ice, possibly a better card. Fire Ice, also able to tap Trinisphere down. Frees up that mana.
Tap Trinisphere. Plays
very important.
A...
Trinisphere?
No, I think that's a Tangle Wire.
Okay. In a very good position for Josh here.
So Josh...
But no threats, and that has cost him another 4 life, putting him down to 10.
It has, so he's lost half his life to give reason again.
It is a Tangle Wire?
I think it is a Tangle Wire. It's a 4 Tangle Wire. So Tangle Wire taps down everything.
What have you got? Is that a Gush?
He's got 2 Gush now,
Gush.
I believe.
2 Gush? Gush in response. You get a free land drop, and all you're doing is tapping down 2 creatures.
Yeah,
basically negating that Tangle Wire.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't actually do that, giving him options to play spells in his main phase.
Unfortunate.
Mishra's Workshop off the top. So, lots of mana for Josh to see if he can
and now
again,
you
misses another chance to Gush.
And there's an Ingot Chewer, I think, so you can bounce that and kill that Lodestone. You could have killed
the Chalice, killed the map.
The map, and that's crucial.
So, perhaps...
I'm even in the idea that you could...
Being a little less aggressive with his Gush.
Kill that Chalice. But this is one of the key factors of why Gush is such a good card. And netting you that 2 free mana, as it were.
That's true.
And he's just ripped the Dark Depths.
Josh again rips the
Josh.
Depths, as usual. I'd like to announce that he only won 1 of those, I believe, in his deck. So
no cards in hand. Don't need them. I've got this.
Yeah, just off the top. So here we are.
So now he only has to tap down 2 things, in which case I'm suggesting you tap down the 2 lands, because you can gush them back. I really think you need your clock. This is why, had he... And there's a time... Is that a force or a
force
time?
of will.
Okay, alright.
So,
had he have...
He's got his Ingot Chewer available now.
Had he simply have gushed and perhaps kept that Fire Ice, this seems like the game is definitely in his favour, as he could have had more open mana, and he could have been attacking with more creatures as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I definitely think you need to be making.
Remembering that Gush would have made some tokens off the young Pyromancer.
Which effectively nets him 2 extra mana for every gush.
And
because he gets to replay one, get a token which is untapped.
And the token taps the Tangle Wire as well.
Yep.
So you can keep your mana free earlier.
Yep, exactly.
In any event, though, we're at the stage where there's been an Ingot Chewer, and there's no more Tangle Wire, but Josh has the Thespian Stage Dark Depths combo now. He is, however, on 8 life.
Yep. So 8 life, it's going to cost him another 2 to activate this Thespian stage, unless he draws a spare land, well, unless he draws a Mox. So that effectively puts him down to 6. I think not gushing here has actually been the reason why, if it so occurs.
Stage. Oh well, he doesn't have to use his tomb. Doesn't have to use his tomb now.
He does have to use.
Oh no, he has to use his tomb. So he will go to 6.
Works for so he's going to have to go down to 6, and I think this.
There's a preordain.
Losing that Fire Ice could have been crucial for Damian.
It would have given him a turn.
Would have given him 1 turn, which means 6 damage, and had he gushed, he would have had an extra token, which would have been lethal.
So he can played a preordain into the Chalice, gets the token, however.
Token doesn't have fly.
So he's now on a 3-turn clock.
A no-turn clock.
Josh is on a 3-turn clock.
Sure, but Damian's on a 1
turn
clock.
That's right.
1 turn is slightly less than 3 turns.
Yeah, and probably
also taking that instead of making the
token. Oh look, you never know. He could have had like a Vapor Snag in hand.
Yep, that's true.
So look, Josh playing safe.
He could have also played Black Lotus into Jace into Bouncy or...
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you're probably a good play.
If you can survive it, then no worries.
I think he's just hit nothing but young Pyromancers here.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, young Pyromancer.
I think you want to also play the white land there, just to put a bit of fear of God in him, and
the fear of the swords, the plowshares. You mean?
Yeah.
So at end of turn, Josh goes down to 4.
Yeah.
Makes the token.
Yeah. So unfortunately, and I think Damian's packing it in.
And he has. That's packed it in well. Amazingly, Josh Archer defeats Damian.
Absolutely.
Smith 3-2 in the finals to take his 2nd consecutive Vintage League.
Definitely. I think, a little bit more slower play from Damian there. Analysis of the goings on.
Yeah, as you said, could have gushed perhaps more aggressively to maximise the tokens he had, the damage he could put down, and also his ability to play around Tangle Wire a bit more.
And perhaps even Ingot Chewer to cut Josh off that line.
Exactly right. And
he was tapped out at one stage.
He was indeed, so that was an option.
Yeah.
But Damian did well to make the finals, played throughout.
And he's going to be replacing that proxy Library of Alexandria with a real one.
Indeed. So
fantastic work.
Even second place. There it is, Vintage League, 2nd place prize, Library's handed over. And here is the time vault.
No, we're going to miss that one.
We're going to miss the time vault. It was nicely framed.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, please stay tuned to Full House Games for Magic and more, and join us at the next Brisbane Vintage League. League. League.